don't forget to smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button. Trust us, it'll be worth it. Thank you. What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight. This is the Real Review 3000 and the Mandalorian Roundtable. What's better than the Mandalorian? You might say being on stream since 3 o'clock my time. That's probably not the truth, though. Anyways, I want to bring in all the great people who we have here on the Mandalorian Roundtable. Of course, we know that this is a revolving one. We have people come and go depending on their schedules. But we do have Comix Division, who was a part of the original Mandalorian Roundtable. Great to have you here, Comix. Why don't you tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found on all that great stuff?
Oh, geez, put me on the spot, why don't you? Well, you can find me on Twitter at Comix Division, and my channel is Comix Division on YouTube. I talk about random things these days, typically about entertainment. Sometimes I get a little political. It's
amazing. It's like, wow, you talk about. Oh, geez, my mind's blown. I don't know what to say about that. It's good to have you back, man.
Great thanks, Chris. Good to see you again.
Yes, and let's bring in. Let's see here. I would bring in the other person who's been here almost since the beginning, Mr. Shellback TJC, who's muted himself. Mr. Shellback, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm just faking it till I make it.
That's going to be a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Unfortunately.
Anyway, so tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found, all that good stuff.
Just YouTube and Twitter under Shellback TJC.
Look for the turtle.
Yeah. I show up occasionally on a few channels. West Moody Webcast, BearBear Nerd Fun, and the Latino Slant, and this one, apparently.
Yes, apparently. I mean,
you also pop up on occasion on my channel as well.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
It's like, when I jump up and down and like, hey,
let me on. No, it's all good, dude.
How about that? Gotta love it. Anyways, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, these guys are two of the originals. BearBear Nerd Fun. He is, I think, was it a birthday party or something else? Something else came up. I know that. A few of the other guys said, we'll see what happens. They might be here, they might not. But let's bring in one of the new guys, JJ, aka Sith Lord 3827. JJ, how you doing today? You're muted. All right, you're not now. So watch.
I got it now, man. Yeah, we're doing this live. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Not too much. We're here. We're doing
again.
We're doing. Yep. Like I said, since 3 o'clock, man.
Damn.
I've been running, and I got another one after this around 10 o'clock my time. So.
Well, at least you'll have a little break, depending on how long this goes.
We'll see. Yeah. But go ahead and tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found, all that good stuff.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy JJ. You can find me a little bit everywhere, but mainly you can find me on my channel. I do a weekly live stream called Randomness at its Finest. It's a random panel, random topic situation. Come by it, check it out. You might actually like it. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff that goes with it. And don't forget the bell. Ding, ding.
Ring my bell. Ring my bell.
Ring everybody here. If they put out content, ring their bells, watch their stuff. And like and subscribe also to them. And also you can find me on Twitter at SithLord3827. Sometimes I tweet, sometimes I retweet, sometimes I don't. It's a lottery. Come check it out. Glad to be back, Chris. Thank you.
Great to have you here as always. As I check out everything, I still have to send the tweet out to tell everybody about this, but that's all right. We'll get to it. And let's bring in another new guy. Hungry baby. Oh my God. Why are we going to talk about that?
Yeah, give me a little fist bump though. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Elihu Who here. Tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found.
Okay, unlike Hungry Baby Yoda, I am Elihu Who. And unlike this guy, I actually talk real stuff. I'm just fucking with you.
Whoa.
I just I talk science. I have a weekly science show every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific time called What's Up with the Universe?
What is up with the universe?
The what?
What is up with the universe? Yeah.
A lot of many mysteries and wonderful things up with the universe. And this Wednesday, we're talking about stars and how small our star is because 1 million Earths can fit in our star, and it is very, very small. And I'm also on Twitter, and all the information is down there, just like Comic and JJ and Shellback. All of our Twitter and YouTube, all of our Discord stuff is all down in the description. So just scroll down. You can listen. Just scroll down. You don't have to watch. Just listen to us. Just scroll down and click.
Yes, everybody's links are down below. Everybody who has been on the panel and everything like that, they are down there. And last but not least, we're bringing a new guy in. He was on my last stream, so I said, "Hey, I know you like talking about the Mandalorian, so this is the Ostinator Ta today. Normally it's Ostinator or yeah. Go ahead, just tell him where you can be found and all
it's
that.
That guy over there, yeah.
Ostinator.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's the Ostinator. I'll be back. I'm a new version. I'm the TX. I'm the Ostinator X. I got a Twitter, so if you ever want to hit me up in my DMs, just look me up at the Ostinator17. And if you don't have Twitter, that's okay. If you have Discord, you can also hit me up in my DMs there at the Ostinator. And I got a YouTube channel called the Ostinator, not the Ostinator. And I recently hit 80 subscribers. I am currently on my way to 100. 20 more, guys. 20 more. I talk about everything on the channel. I'm basically a topic whore, and I'm also a stream whore. I'm everywhere.
I'm teaching him well.
Danny's also in the back room too.
Oh, cool.
There he is.
I'm sorry.
No, he's not.
Recently I just talked wrestling on the channel, and next stream more than likely be wrestling related. But I also talk about Marvel and DC superheroes, and I talk about everything. So if you guys want to check me out, go subscribe.
Indeed. All right. And last but not least, another new one. Well, he was in the last part of last year, but this is Mr. Danny Graham, aka Comic Chat. Danny, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found, your channel, all that great stuff.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I am Comic Chat. Chris and I did a stream earlier today. It was released probably about an hour ago. It's called Planet Solo. This week we did the great Johnny Guitar Watson. So we're gonna review several different guitar soloists. So please check that show out. Tomorrow night I'll be on the Chaotic Conversation, where we continue our top 50 bad guys of all time. So please catch that, tune into that. It should be very interesting. And you see me on a host of shows throughout the week. We have a sports show, Square One. We did that yesterday. We also have Equilibrium, where we discussed this specific topic. And also I'm on the Rule of Three with Chris, and also on the KHAOS list with Nzo and Chris. So we're all over. So please, if you get the time, tune in. We try to give you good content.
Awesome. For a quick minute, I thought he was going to say it was a show about the Solo, how Solo lost money.
No, that's not what it is. All right, guys, great to convene this round table. Let's start off with the obvious question. What was your overall impression of The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2? What was it called? What was the title on this again?
The Passenger.
The Passenger.
Oh, the Passenger. Okay. All right. And Elihu, who's already giving the spoilers out with his...
Oh, sorry. This is a spoiler-related show, though. But
I know. Yeah. Everybody do understand if you do watch this. We do spoil the whole damn thing. We go through it all. We dig into it. We eat it like a little egg and everything.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start with you, Comics. Tell everybody what you thought of this overall.
I thought it was okay. Honestly, there's a lot of things I liked about the episode, but as a episode in the series, I thought it was a bit of a waste. But the scenes with the X-Wings were pretty cool, and we'll talk once we get to what I didn't like about it. Obviously, I'll go into more detail there. I like the scenes with the X-Wing where they're chasing the Razor Crest through the clouds. That was kind of cool. The crash landing, I covered that in the part I didn't like. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really nice action, but it was a filler episode. And this is the problem when you only have 8 episodes in the season. You can't afford to really have filler episodes.
No, you can't. All right. Anything else?
Actually, I really like the opening where he's on the speeder bike and they set the trap. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. The whole thing is like, take the jetpack, and he hits the thing and sends the guy shooting off. So
that's like the oldest trick in the book.
It really is.
Like, my God, are the people on Tatooine just dumb as rocks? I mean, it's all the sand in their brains. I was like,
I guess.
All right, Shellback, what do you think overall?
I mean, it was all right. It's like he just said. I mean, this one could definitely be classified as a filler episode. In fact, I mean, when it stopped, when the episode was over, I'm like, what? I'm like, already, especially after the first episode, which was actually a decent length. For me, I always thought every episode last season was too damn short. But I was like, wait a minute, I'm like, it's over. I'm like, to me, it was like it wasn't like a complete episode. Like
it wasn't.
The first one was a complete episode, but
right.
And you can have a quote unquote what do you call it, cliffhanger type of ending to an episode, but it felt like it needed to go on like another couple of scenes at least.
Okay.
But
we'll talk about that when we get to the other stuff. But right now we're just getting the overall. So let's go down to JJ. JJ, tell everybody what you thought overall.
Well, I have to agree with Shellback and Comics on this one. It was a filler episode, but for a filler episode, I liked it. Now, my wonderful late mother, her favorite character of all time was Yoda. So I actually adored the child. So, and this was like kid, Baby Yoda episode. He was more up in front now, or the child was more up in front now. That was that's why I like the episode. I don't care about all those spiders and stuff like that. I'm just talking about just the kid. He actually did something. Assuming it's a he.
No, they said he was a he in season 1.
Okay, all right.
I don't want to know how they know, but
yeah, that's kind of but
what's Mandalorian doing behind the scenes?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it was in the scene with the doctor. The doctor.
Oh, that's
the one
right.
who's
That's right. That's right. I do remember. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the X-wings. Chasing the Razor Crest. I love it that the man himself is back in the cockpit. That was hilarious as shit. I loved it. But yeah, it was an okay episode to me for a filler.
All right.
That's.
Hey, Eli, who tell everybody what you thought overall of the episode.
I have to agree with this guy, that guy, and that guy. It was a filler episode.
Their names are on their boxes. just gonna put that out there.
Shellback, JJ.
Everybody, give him a big round of applause. He can read. I'm sorry.
Yes, he can read.
You have a science show. I was hoping. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Well, it was basically a filler episode, and I thought, did they land on Clandathu?
Do what?
If nobody knows what Clandathu is, it's the bug planet from Starship Troopers.
No.
It's a bug planet. It's the only thing on the planet is bugs. Come on. You couldn't have a snow beast or something? I was mildly impressed with the episode. Just mildly. I'll give you my rating later on. I won't do it ahead of time again.
All right. Austinator, go ahead and tell everybody what you thought overall of this episode.
Well, I'm going to agree with everybody else here. It was a filler episode, but I'm also going to agree with JJ and say that I think this was actually a good filler episode because my biggest problems with like shows that, because again, with season 1, you couldn't really afford to have any filler because it's 8 episodes. But now that it's 10 episodes, I wasn't really surprised we were going to get at least 1 or 2 filler episodes.
Is it 10? I thought we're getting 8.
I thought they were still 8. I thought they taught 10 for the next season. They wanted to get it out, so they thought they did 8. But I don't know. You might be right. Somebody want to get that?
I'm looking.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Austin.
I did like the opening where they set the trap for Mando, and then that scene happened.
It's only 8.
Okay.
Oh, it's only 8?
Yeah, it's only 8.
That's what I thought.
Right,
I think next season they're talking 10.
All right, so then that might be a problem then, since we're only 2 episodes in, and this one was kind of filler. But the trap scene at the beginning of episode 2 was good. I did enjoy the chase scene between the X-Wings and the Razor Crest. I think it again, I kind of expect that in a Star Wars related show, is the effects and just the way the chase scenes are handled. And even though the Bug Planet was interesting to say the least, we're going to talk about that. But I did like this because, again, I have my problems with spiders in the Star Wars universe because of Jedi Fallen Order. They gave me a bit of flashbacks then to where I had to fight spiders almost 24/7. But it actually kind of felt like Alien in a way. You know, with
the
bugs.
Yeah.
But but I'm going to say this. I think this episode was actually better than the first episode.
Okay. Oh, that's fair. Okay. Danny, what do you think overall?
I like the episode. I think Jon Favreau just recently watched Harry Potter, Aliens, and Ant-Man. And he kind of throw it all into one because those eggs were straight out of Alien, the spiders were straight out of Harry Potter, and that ant was straight from Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So Jon Favreau, he may be struggling creatively to get something original. I don't know. But I'm a Star Wars fan. To me, both these episodes are much better than the last 3 movies that I saw on the big screen. So it may be a filler, but I think you could also look at it as they're trying to develop Mando's character and let us see a different side of him, because he has definitely softened up and matured. Well, when I say soften up, he cares more about that child. But then his fighting skill and stuff seems to be a whole lot better than it was last season. So I'm digging what they're doing so far.
StreamYard froze up. I'm refreshing.
Okay.
I'm digging what they're doing with him. So I'm not unhappy with the episodes, but I think it was good. I will definitely tune in next Friday.
All right. Let me kick and let me add. There we go.
You kicking that? No two of me? Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I've learned. So, so my overall thought, and I think Comix, you and I for sure have said this since the beginning, is that the whole filler episode thing doesn't work in the Star Wars universe, I don't think. And so I didn't mind it. It was
not when
fun.
There's only 8 episodes. If you have 26 episodes, it's fine.
Yeah. But it just didn't seem like I don't know, it just seemed really just kind of put there for whatever reason. I mean, again, you can make the excuse. You can make the excuse. He's got to go. He's got to do this. He's got to do that. But it's like, where exactly? Okay, so this lady has. Okay, I'm not even going to go into that. It was an all right episode. I found it interesting enough to watch the time that it was on. But again, you switch this episode and give it the length of time they did in the first episode, and you switched there 2 times. Because last week was what, 55 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, they're about.
And this week was 37, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Flip those 2.
Yeah.
That's one thing I will say.
Well, you got to chop off about 5 or 10 minutes for all the previews and the credits.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Real quick. Anzo, good to have you here.
What's
Anzo
up, guys?
is another guy that I do the chaotic conversations, chaos list, and the rule of 3 with on Chaos Central. So, Anzo, what we're doing here basically is overall impressions of this episode first. Just basic overall. What did you think?
I liked it a lot better than the first one.
Okay.
First episode. I thought it was a little bit more entertaining than the first one. So I give it, it's better than the first one. No, I wasn't ranking it.
No ranking yet.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to rank it. I was just going to say, it's good. It's good. It was better than the first one.
Well, you're
I have
wrong,
my
bro.
issues with it, and I guess we'll get to that later.
Yes, we
but
will.
yeah, I thought it was better than the first one.
All right. I think last week we started with what we liked or what we didn't like.
We start off with what we liked, and then we move on to what we didn't like.
I just want to make sure that I get my own show corrector. That's what I got you guys here for, is to keep me straight. I've been on stream since 3. So, okay. So, what did you like most about this episode? Comics, go.
Honestly, the opening scene is what I liked most, along with the X-wing chase scene. I thought that those were executed very well. And like I said, the action scenes too with the spiders was good, despite not really making a lot of sense. I definitely liked it. There was parts I was like, oh damn! Specifically when the giant spider fell onto the Razor Crest, and you see like a big old not pincer, I guess it's one of the spider legs jabbing through the hull of the ship. It's just like, how are they going to get out of this? And how they get out of it is what really ruins the episode for me, because it doesn't make any freaking sense.
I guess that. All right, Shellback, what did you like? Oh, was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Cool. All right, Shellback, what did you like about it?
Well, I mean, like pretty much what's been said already. The visuals were really really good, which, I mean, with today's technology I would kind of expect that, but yeah, the basically the high speed pursuit, through the clouds and the trench and all that, and I don't know that if I think that the ship should have gotten torn up as much as it did. Even with the crash, because I mean it was kind of a, it was a pretty controlled crash, and I mean, yeah, they basically sink through the the ice and into a lower cavern and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know if it should have quite been that bad or whatever, and I the way it was buried there at the end, I don't know if it would have been that easy to get it to freaking pull itself out. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I pretty much, just the visuals, I mean, and the running from the spiders was cool and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, JJ, you're muted. I don't know what's better, is that when you're muted, you can see you're talking and we can tell you're muted. But what's best for me is when right before he turns it on, you can see him. Goddamn motherfucker!
dude, that's twice, man. Because when you started giggling, I'm thinking you can read what I'm saying, because you say you're muted. I'm like, motherfucker.
I just know how JJ is when before he turns it on. He's like,
motherfucker. So,
all right.
Anyway, the episode in a whole, there's not one particular thing I like the most as far as scenes or whatnot. When I watch stuff like that, I like ship porn. You know what I'm saying? I like good chase scenes. I love to see the details in the vessels, and how much thought they actually put into the design of this stuff. And during the opening, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but the X-wings were highly, highly detailed.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were.
They were.
And then also the spiders, I thought were done excellently. All of them. Because another thing I love to do, I love to watch the end credits because it shows the concept art for every scene.
Mhm.
Yep.
And what they're pulling off in the concept art and bringing basically to life on the screen, man, they're nailing this shit. So to me, it's just the visual effects of the entire episode.
Yeah, the visual effects are fantastic.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. That's it.
Austinator, go ahead. What was your favorite part?
I guess the things I liked most about it, I kind of said this earlier, would be just the action scenes and the visuals. And I would even say especially like towards the end of just that first like trap sequence where he gives him the jetpack in exchange for the child, and then when he goes and uses the jetpack, he just presses a few buttons on his wrist, and then he just falls to the ground, and it just goes right back to him. That was pretty cool. And again, I'll say the spiders. I think that chase sequence was pretty fun. I would say it was like a tension filled scene, and that's one of the things I think they did right was the tension. Because if you're going to do something like spiders, and especially with someone who doesn't necessarily like spiders, especially when you have the gigantic ones, it can get you. So,
Okay. All right. Anything else?
no, I think that's it.
Okay. Danny.
This is going to be pretty dark, but I kind of dig the little Yoda eating them eggs.
I was waiting for someone to say it. Listen, if you need to quit. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
When you first look at him, I was like, when you first look at him, I say those eggs are pretty much in trouble. And then how he was sneaky about it, and Mando was telling him, stop, put that down, you can't do that. And then what was really kind of dark is when the frog lady saved his ass when the spiders was on him. And then he still ended up getting one and looked back at her and sitting in Mando's lap and whoop, the last one. So it was pretty much dark humor, but it made me chuckle. I ain't gonna sit here and lie.
Okay. That's all right. Anything else?
No, mine is more on what I didn't like.
Okay, fair enough. Elihu Who, you, yes, you, go.
Him?
No,
Oh,
not
me.
you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Can you share my screen?
Yes, I guess I can. There you go.
Yeah, the opening sequence was the best, but I actually liked the reaction right here after this happens. Like, what did you just do?
Yeah, and he just shrugs. No, and the look that Baby Yoda gives him is literally one
Off
of
on him.
It's
I
like,
love that. They're speaking the repertoire between each other. They're actually bonding still. I love that. It's like, what did you do? Hey. I mean, that was a perfect trap for that speeder. I love that opening sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And the canyon run was like a throwback from episode 4 and Independence Day.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that. Yeah. All right.
I'll get what I do not like about that one when the next round comes.
I think that's going to be the big one this week.
Mm.
Anzo,
Yes,
overall,
sir.
what was the best thing? What was your favorite things of it?
For me, I think both episodes opened up fire. Like, I love the opening of both episodes, man. And the opening of this one, I really enjoyed it. You know, I like to see Mando take out those guys, and then what he did with the jetpack and all of that was good. The spider thing was okay to me. You know what I mean? I didn't hate it. It was okay to me. It was, I'll say I liked that part of it too as well. The effects, again, the visuals, seeing the TIE fighters chase the ship down. I wish they would have blasted a bit, you know what I mean, and had them dodging some fires, like laser blasts and stuff like that. But other than that, those are the things that I did really like about the episode.
Okay. One of the things I liked, and we'll just I agree with you. The opening, I liked the whole exchange between him and the
Jawa looking thing.
No. Well, that was funny, but the whole exchange between him and the X-wings was kind of reminiscent of Han on the Death Star. You know, he's just like, oh shit, what? Because he's just kind of playing it. He's like, okay,
I can't get that working right now. I'll get right on that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait. And he's like,
They're good enough company.
and so he's like, oh, I found it, and then and then the whole. Hey Bob, can you turn it to channel 2? I mean, that was kind of funny because we've never gotten that before. We don't understand that they have these I like the multi-channel radio thing. It's kind of old school. It's nice to see the attention to the detail that, hey, we're gonna talk to each other separate from where he can hear us. Okay,
that's what real cops do when they about to lock your ass up.
Yeah, I understand. No, I understand that. I'm just saying I like to see that in something that doesn't have to do it.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying.
They didn't have to do it. It could have just gone dark, and you wouldn't know. They really made it a point of saying, "Hey, switch. I got something to tell you." And as soon as that happens, like Danny said, as soon as you ever hear on a police scanner or something, hey, anytime it's like, hey, can you go over to this channel or whatever, dude? If whoever stopped. You're going to jail. It's guaranteed. So I like that.
Yeah, it's just like NASA. The astronauts, when they have a private conversation, they go to the channel 2. They're a doctor's channel. That's not always a doctor.
I know. I liked the flying scenes and stuff. I didn't have an issue with them not firing on them. I understand what they were trying to do. But we'll go into it a little bit. Hey, look who's here. Final Death Star. I'll get right with you here in a second, Final.
Okay.
But what I really liked, I did like the spiders, but what I liked is they did the perfect thing with them. You start off really small with the little alien egg things, and they played the game of, oh, he eats anything like an egg, or it's like Baby Yoda's just goes over there and he's still doing it because, well, Mando just told him don't do it here in the warm spring. It starts out slow. You see the first one, and then there's a few more, but as that whole scene goes, it ramps up and up and up and up and up, and I like that. It's very important on a scene like that you ramp up and you make it feel like there's no way in hell they're going to get out of this. I liked that. I did like that, but we'll get to the rest of it. But let's get down to final. The first two questions, of course, as always. What was your overall impression? And then what was the thing you liked the most about this episode? Go ahead and I'll let you do that.
Hated the dislike about this episode, but talk about what we liked. How stoned are you, or how drunk are you?
That's what I said.
You didn't.
Overall, what did you think about the episode, and what was the thing you liked the most?
Okay, so what I liked the most. Okay, so overall, I felt it was a filler episode. I know some fancy people are calling it a bridge episode, which I think is just a nice way of saying, trying to appease some certain people. It was a filler episode.
Toll bridge.
Totally.
Toll bridge.
Filler.
Hello?
Sounds like we lost him.
Oh,
Yep.
can you not hear me?
Okay, now we can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right.
It just felt like it was a toll bridge episode. It was just there. There was nothing I necessarily disliked about it. I mean, there were certain things here and there, but also there wasn't enough to really have me anticipate the next episode, as much as last week where you end off with Boba Fett. And, that made me excited for next week, or for this past week, where this just kind of, left off with like, well, where this didn't really drive the point of the show or the plot of this season along, and again, we don't really get a lot of character development with Mando, and we got a little bit of Baby Yoda's hunger and his genocidal tendencies, but That was really it. And the thing I liked most about it, probably the spider sequence scene. The cave. I mean, it's the ice planets. I'm always partial to them. It's pretty much just Hoth, and I don't like the fact that we keep getting the same planets that we're used to seeing. It's like the desert. In this episode, we literally got Tatooine and Hoth. And it's not Hoth, but
yeah.
We'll get to that here. We'll get to that here in a second.
Okay. So yeah, I like the spider sequence, and I like the fact that they used the Ralph McCurry, artwork for that, concept drawings, and what might have been an Empire Strikes Back. So it's nice that they used that.
Okay. All right. Then let's go right into, because I think that, like I said, I think it's going to be the thing that's the longest. What didn't you like about it? Comics.
I have a laundry list.
Well, here, hold on. Let me get a timer out. I got a timer. No, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
First off, which final Death Star already hit on was, what is it? Do we only have 2 types of planets in Star Wars? Yeah, Star Wars at this point. Desert and ice. That felt kind of cheap. My biggest issue was basically when the X-Wings were running the plates of the Razor Crest. They have this exchange, and then at the very end of the episode, after the ship is being attacked by the giant spider, and you're like, okay, how are they going to get out of this, man? Because the spider's wrecking the ship, and then you start seeing and hearing blaster bolts going off, and then you find out he's basically getting saved by the pilots from the X-Wings that were chasing after him earlier, and it's like, okay. And they're like, hey, are you this guy that did this bad thing, but you did all these good things? Yeah. Okay, we're going to let you go now. And it's like, you could have done that in the very beginning of the episode. It's like, that's like my biggest issue. It's like, why were they chasing after him? Just to say, oh, by the way, we're letting you go now. And that's it. I mean, that was a huge, huge issue with the episode for me. They could have been there at the very beginning saying, hey, did you do this? And this and this, okay, we're going to cut you some slack. Get out of here. But if they did decide to do the chase, I feel like Mando continues to make rookie moves, like the way he crashed his ship. And that really bothered me. I would have preferred that he landed it in a cave, the X-Wings left, and then he took off, and then they could have gone somewhere else with the episode. The other thing, too, that I didn't like was the fact that, because they picked up this frog lady, and she has a case full of her eggs, and this is like the last of her line. They can't go make the jump to hyperspace. They have to stay in sublight. It's like, that makes no sense. Why? They have inertial dampeners on the ship, and not to mention, those eggs would have been trashed with the amount of crashing that ship did. So it just is like little things like that just either, I wouldn't say I'm overthinking it, but it's just like it doesn't make sense. And I felt like for the most part it was contrived to put him in a situation that he needs to get out of, and because plot, they could have done something far more interesting with this episode, and it again felt like a bit of a waste of potential with me.
Okay. Anything else?
I got
not that I recall at the moment.
What was that, Danny?
Can we comment on what he said?
Yeah, go for it.
That turn.
Yeah.
One of his things he said about the why they didn't do that at first. Sometime in law enforcement, you can get a piece of information at the initial stop, and then when you do something else crazy, you get more additional information. So maybe then a lot of times it's officer discretion. So was a little stretched. I can see what you're saying, but sometimes the officer only has bits of the information, and then as time passes, he gets more. Second thing, I think the reason why he landed, I think he was intending on taking off, but I think the heat from his engines melt through the ice.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I saw.
That could be.
It was also pretty rough landing too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the other thing too that I want to bring up is the whole thing when he goes to repair the ship, and I get there's certain things that need to be fixed, but why didn't he just like go and pressurize the cabin like what they did at the end, and just handle the situation that way? It's like there was a lot of like,
we're gonna have to be here tonight.
Yeah, the hull's compromised. We're screwed. We can't go anywhere.
And then
the deal's off, and it's like, but he ends up sealing the cabin, and they drop the planet.
half an hour later.
Yeah.
We'll seal
The other
cabin.
thing too, the final thing I have an issue with. Sorry, Chris.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Is like you didn't really have like a completing arc, which was he picks up this frog lady and goes to deliver her to this planet so she could be with her husband and they can continue their line. And you don't see that. You don't. You could have tacked on an extra 5 minutes to complete the story arc.
Well, maybe that's where it's going to pick up on episode 3. Where
Maybe.
I'm going to say this real quick about that. They have yet to prove that. They're always not.
They just did it. They just did it. Episode 1, he left on the speeder.
You're right.
Episode
Okay,
2,
no, you're right. You are right. And they did it last season. But, I mean, but this type of off point. Now, if they're trying to make it all cohesive this year, great. I want to see that. But they just don't have a track record necessarily of that in these offshoot stories. But we'll see. We'll see. Shellback.
Yeah.
Not like the most.
Well,
Or
kind
what
of
did you not
like
like?
what I said earlier. I mean, yeah, it can be kind of cool, that we can't do this or we have to do this or yada yada. With the hole being torn open, it's like, oh, hey, yeah, the spiders can get in through there later on in the story, stuff like that. But in a way, though, I don't think it should have. I think there should have been like a little bit more of a controlled crash, and that the ship wouldn't as beat up as it ended up being. But one of the things, and that was I was chuckling along with everybody else when Baby Yoda was having his pickled eggs, right? But at the same time, I might get in trouble with this, if there's any, EU people, that listen to our show, because, I had a bit of an argument with a couple of EU people from last episode with the whole, sacrificing the banthas, when, in the books, banthas are supposed to be more important than that. Anyway,
like I said, we're not going to get into the EU stuff. We're just not going to do that.
But
what else?
But I mean, to go along with that, though, like I said, I was laughing with everybody else, when he'd sneak another egg, and stuff. But at the same time, it's like, the problem that I had with that was, that the frog lady is like a sentient being, and these are her kids. So basically, it's like, he's eating somebody else's kids. It's not
basically. That's exactly what he's doing.
It's not. It's not like, in the first season, when he ate the little frog.
No, it's different.
Which I mean, I laughed my ass off at that one, especially the first time. But this one, it's like, I'm like, you're eating her kids, and Mando's like, like don't do that, like you're, like he's in the cookie jar, eating cookies when he needs to save room for dinner, like, but. And, like I said, the time thing, I think they needed to put on at least 1 or 2 more scenes before they ended the episode. But, yeah, I don't know. It was, it was just a filler side quest in which, me being, having experience in like, tabletop gaming and stuff, I can appreciate, the side quests and stuff, but it needs to be in a double-digit season at least, so.
Okay. JJ. Make sure that mic's on.
Oh, one last thing. I was really kind of hoping that the New Republic would have improved their physical standards. Since the days of Porkins, I mean, I know.
Listen,
that Mr. Miyagi.
Porkins was an unsung hero, and I still think he should have gotten his own movie.
Back then, during
They
the
shouldn't have named
rebellion,
him Porkins.
I could understand them having.
That was bad.
I could understand them having more lax physical standards, But
Yeah.
now that they're the New Republic, I mean, dude,
Listen. No, think about this.
Trapper,
It makes
Trapper
sense.
Wolf,
No.
Trapper
Listen,
Wolf,
listen,
and what's his
listen.
name need
Shell,
to do some crunches, okay?
Shell. It makes sense. They're all inclusive. It's Disney. They have to represent everybody.
I mean, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not fat shaming or anything, but
you're fat shaming.
Okay. All right.
Well, maybe
All
a
right.
little.
JJ, what did you hate most, or what did you not like the most, or just what didn't you like?
Just do some sit-ups.
Well, I liked a little bit of all of it, actually. It wasn't the best episode in the world, but to me, it wasn't absolutely the worst. I think the fact that it just in general, that all in all, it was a filler episode. With 8 episodes in a season, we already said this earlier. This should not be here. This should be more of a story-driven episode instead of, oh wait, we got to save some eggs. Oh wait, the child gets to have a feast. Oh wow, more spider. Come on, there should have been more in this episode. There should have been a lot more in this episode, and I agree with Shell. The episode should have ended a lot differently the way it did. There should have been more there. The teaser trailers for this. I know the opening of the next episode, you're going to see the Razor Crest all beaten and broken, engines all heading to looks like another desert planet. I'm like, what the hell, yo? Or he's going back to Tatooine. We don't know.
Maybe they're easy to render. I don't know.
They've got a ton of it that they've already made.
Well, in that defense, there's only basically a handful of environments. Okay, you got your.
Only because they're thinking
you got your forest, you got your tundra.
Well, I mean, if you not the prequels, that showed obviously a lot of more exotic.
Yeah,
alien
Felucia,
worlds.
man, was beautiful, colorful.
Here's the thing. Not just that. Think about it this way, Shell. They're thinking very earthbound, literally. Yeah. They could come up with. I mean, okay, I'm not a big fan of Avatar, but that planet and parts of that movie.
Yeah,
was whimsical and magical.
Right?
Why don't they think?
It was still like a rainforest.
Hey, listen. But fine. But they haven't shown a real rain. Come on.
I agree with Chris. You're saying it's like earthbound, right? Yeah, I agree with that. It doesn't feel like we're living in a galaxy far, far away.
What about a gas planet, a full gas planet where they have to have some sort of a, they have to stay in their ships, or they have to wear some sort of apparatus
like
to exist.
Well, they had earthbound environments in the first trilogy. So I'm just saying.
But they're limited by technology. Then,
yeah. I mean, okay, all right. I digress. Anyways,
also, to your point, Chris, majority of the planets out there are typically gas giants or gas planets.
Yes, but I mean, there's things that they could do. Plus, they come up with something that we've never seen that we don't know would ever exist, and why not?
We've seen a lot of exotic planets in Clone Wars too. I know it's animated, but still, they explored a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying right there. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's cool. No, that's cool because come on. All right, we seen how season 1 ended. Where the hell's Moff Gideon? When's he going to come into play? What's going on? But yeah, that was the basis of it, man. There's no room for this type of episode. Period.
Sorry, Comix, I need to correct you. I was eating. Not the majority of planets, exoplanets are gas giants. They're the only ones who found because they're easier to spot.
It's okay, Danny.
Oh, wow.
It's okay.
We're going down science.
I'm
We're
not
going down
saying
science, talking about Star Wars. We're going into actual science. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Science.
JJ, anything else?
Yeah, no, that's it. No, that's cool. That's
Okay.
cool. Yeah, that's it.
Austinator, what didn't you like?
Well, I guess like the biggest issue I had with it is again what JJ said is that it's a filler episode. You have 8 episodes for this season. You can't really afford to do that unless it's like a cliffhanger like episode, and there really wasn't that. I mean, it, and also they said you see Boba Fett at the end of episode 1. Now, where this is leading to, I don't know, because why would you set that up and then not go back into it? That was kind of weird. And not seeing Moff, again, I agree with JJ with the Moff Gideon thing.
Mhm.
What's he doing? Like, what about Kara? What about just everybody else? We don't know. To me, that was just my issue with this episode. It was filler, and the Yoda eating the eggs. Again, it was like, yeah, it was chuckle worthy, but it was kind of awkward. Like, I feel like at times it went on a little too long. Like, I think I know that's the running joke, and that's perfect. And I thought the joke was done fine. It felt just awkward at points, and it went on a little too long. It kind of dragged a bit, but not too long to where I thought it was a big problem. But, and I would even say when he eats the spider as well, that was kind of interesting. But otherwise, really, the only problem I had with it was the fact it was filler. And I will say that I did not like the ending. I do feel like it should have ended better. And I didn't like the way that the 2 X-Wing fighters just killed the spider and then just not apprehend Mando just because of the whole entire thing of, oh, you've done these bad things, but you've done these good things. Like, it would have been interesting to see him getting, like, taken by the New Republic and maybe doing something with that. But otherwise, those are really my only problems with it.
Austinator, there you go, using logic.
They're setting him up to be a CI, man. You know, they're like, we're gonna let you go, but we're gonna use you later on. Yeah.
All right, Danny.
I just got 3 quick things just to respond to what Austinator said about the running joke. Again, Jon Favreau borrowed that from the Fat Thor in Endgame. I think that went on too long. This went on too long too with the egg eating thing. They could have stopped at 1, maybe 2, but they went like the whole show. Then they kind of ended the show with that. 2, we talked about the filler episodes. This is notorious for Star Wars because if you watch the last season of Clone Wars, the first 4 or 5 episodes were filler. It was nothing. Did not drive the show at all. But then the last 4 is what really kicked in and everybody tuned into it. And it was fantastic when Ahsoka was able to finally meet and defeat Darth Maul. So they're sticking with their formula. They're going to be slow and dry at first to some fans. Then they're going to ramp it up as the season progresses.
But there's a reason why it was filler like that, Donnie. Sorry for cutting you off, but it's because they were supposed to do a full season, but they canceled the season and then they ended it with the Ahsoka thing. So that's why it was like that. That's why if you watch the Clone Wars, it looks like 2 different seasons because it was supposed to be a full season, but it didn't work out that way.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing, what really kind of teed me off is the frog lady had to remind Mando about his honor. Why does she have to do that? The Mandalorians go by a strict code, and he just kind of be like, well, can't do it, gotta go. So he got a little lazy. So it kind of ticked me off as they're building him up to be like this cavalier person and kind of stuff. But then in the episode, he had to be reminded about his honor. So I think that was a little off in my mind.
It was not a character
part, to be honest with you. But now that you mention it,
that's all I got, Chris.
All right. I like what Dan Fluff says right here. Maybe the eggs are like potato chips. You can't eat just one.
That is a very true statement.
Once you pop, you just can't stop.
Yeah, I was gonna pull out the Jay Leno thing. Hey, crunch all you want. We'll make more. All right, Eli. Eli, who? You.
Who? Oh, wait. Okay. I'm surprised nobody's addressed the fact that the X-Wing pilots are jerks. It's like, hey, you did all this. Okay, we're gonna let you go. Have fun getting yourself off this planet. Good luck. No more spiders come back. I'm like, what the? Come on. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just getting ready for you to say, share my screen.
No.
Go ahead.
Let me ask one quick question, Elihu. Would you rather go to jail or be left alone to fend for yourself?
No, they said they weren't going to arrest him. They let him
I'm
go.
asking,
Then they took off.
would you rather for the cops say, I'm not going to help you change that flat tire and I'm going this way? Or they be like, we're going to 1067 arrest you and tow your car. Which one do you prefer?
Well, they're not going to arrest me. They're going that way. It's like, hey, help me out. Come on.
Yeah. Now, he's asking if you want him to leave you to get your own shit out of the freaking ditch, or if you want 3 hots and a cot, you know. Like,
I want them to leave me alone. Now I get my shit out myself. That's what I want.
Okay, then how did those pilots find Mando in the first place? If they couldn't use the ping because if his ping was the ping, and they would have found him when he crashed. How the hell did they end up finding him?
Maybe the same way that the speeders found Han and Luke on Hoth, you know, sensors and shit.
There's another thing. What triggered the rest of the eggs to hatch at the exact same time?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
You got one egg eating, no problem. Okay, then why did all of them hatch at the exact same time?
The setup for the spiders was poor.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you wake up one kid and then, you know, it's like.
Yeah, I was thinking they must have had some kind of hive mentality where they felt it, you know, in their being, and it just woke them all up. It was kind of silly, but that's kind of what I thought. It must have been hive mentality.
Okay. Anything else, Eli?
The morbid baby Yoda. Yeah, one egg, 2 eggs. That's okay, but the last egg at the very, very end. Oh, come on, that's just pushing it.
That was a dick move.
Life. Stop eating your kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Anzo, or anything else?
No, done.
Okay, Anzo.
Yeah, I got a few, man. One, when that thing is holding Baby Yoda and has like a regular knife in its hand, I was like, really? You know what I mean? I didn't dig the knife. I'm like, come on, get some Star Wars looking knife kind of thing in there.
Like a laser knife.
Or something, right? You know what I mean? Then we get to the mechanic, and I'm sorry, but I still don't like that character. I don't like her. And the fact that she just happens to be playing cards with someone who knows where the Mandalorians are for Mando. It's like, okay, you know what I mean?
A bug?
Yeah.
Why don't you go to a bug planet? Hello.
Then she brings in the frog lady and says, yeah, I've known her for so long. And then at the end she says, oh, well, I've just met her. You know, I'm like, okay, I get the joke. But what else was there? God, I lost my train of thought. The dialogue between that mechanic woman I didn't like too. That's all I can think of right now.
I'm sorry. I like her. I mean, she's like, you know, I got some good chuckles, you know, out of her scenes. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and then the eggs, you know. The first time it's funny. The second time it's like, okay. And then the one right at the end, I'm like, really? Like, come on, this is supposed to be Baby Yoda. He's how many years old still? I know it's still a baby, but he's still older than, what did they say he was? Like 100 or something? 50 years old?
He's 50. He's like a toddler.
No, I get it. I get it. But still, you know what I mean? Their 50 should at least be a little bit. And then Nando's telling him not to. Oh, and I love the fact, I should have said this earlier, that the aliens are actually speaking alien language. I just don't like when the humans start doing it. I don't like when Mando did it, and then I don't like when the mechanic did it either, man.
That's like the whole thing with Star Wars is that everybody understands basic, and most aliens can speak basic, but they don't.
Right. Exactly. And now this woman is just coming around speaking the language, and Mando was speaking the language, you know. So those were my issues with it.
Okay. Not
to be... I was gonna say in the original, like in the movies and stuff, you know, they would You know, like when Han was talking to Chewie.
I asked not to get political in this, please. No, that's fine. It's fine. I love it because you know what? That's not political. That's just great humor.
All right, I'll
that's just great memeing, man.
Leave it. Please, I love it.
Too late. I'm on.
Yeah, when Han would talk to Chewie, you know, back in the original trilogy, you know, he would basically, you know, Chewie would say something and Han would be like, "What do you mean this, that?" You know, so it's like, you know, the Han's dialogue was like basically translating it to us.
Yeah.
You know, in English. So yeah, maybe they just want to be like a little bit different, but you know what? To go back to like some of the things, you know, not to like or whatever. You know, one is, you know, confirmed. You know, Baby Yoda is Fat Bastard from Austin Powers. You know, I want to kill the babies.
That'd be funny if that was the first word.
Here's one of the things that I meant to say earlier.
Okay. Baby Yoda. Make it quick. I gotta get the final. Come on.
Baby Yoda is like still acting like a baby, like, and he's 50. Okay, he shouldn't have been acting like a baby from the get-go.
How do you know?
No, how did the species survive this long if their infants go up to like 100?
The thing is, you know, like supposedly Yoda became a Jedi Master at the age of 100. So that's only 50 years older than what this, you know, child is supposed to be.
Who told you that?
So either he's really putting on a damn show, or you know, he's on the Yoda short bus.
Yeah, you know? But we don't know. We don't know any of that.
The Yoda short bus.
Oh,
but
Jesus,
I've never heard in any literature Yoda being a master at 100 years old. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I think that's somewhere. I think that's kind of true, though. I think he was supposed to be a master at a very
years to go, then.
Young age. I don't know if it was 100, but
he's got 50 years to go, and he's got 50 years to find Luke. And please find him before the last.
There was at least a reference. There was at least a reference somewhere where he's talked about training Jedi for 800 years.
So. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. Boy. Okay, something that hasn't. Well, I think also the language thing doesn't make sense because you got Mando who did not speak the Frog Lady language, right? Mm-hmm. But he spoke Tuscanese. I don't know what you want to call it. He spoke the Tuscan, Tuscanese and the sign language, right? So he understands that, which is pretty rare, I think. But somehow doesn't speak this Frog Lady language. But yet Amy Sedaris, who is just annoying in this show. She speaks it, you know, and it just goes. It started with Solo, with the movie Solo, you know, with him speaking. It's like that was dumb.
I think a little Wookiee.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, and now it's continued through this show, and it's like just keep it with, you know, I don't mind him speaking Huttese. You know, because Mando kind of was, when he was on the ship, he was trying to figure out what she was speaking, or if she spoke Huttese, and he mentioned a few words, and that because it's a little more like a language we're used to, or you can imagine it being a language that we would understand, be able to speak, but just the guttural kind of thing.
Mando would understand Huttese because he's a gangster and he would deal with gangsters.
Yeah, right. It makes sense that he would speak that for sure. Yeah, and this show is just like an episode of Clone Wars or Rebels. It feels like it was out of place. I feel like. I've said this before, but I feel like this show.
Froze.
He froze.
His argument doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure some of us may know Spanish or whatever.
Wait. Hold on. Okay, finish. Finally, you froze for a second. Finish.
I was saying I feel like this is a show that that was based on a movie. Am I freezing out?
No, not anymore.
You're fine now.
I feel like it was a movie that they stretched out, and I feel like Filoni's like, hey, we need to make this longer. Here's an episode I had from Clone Wars, or an idea I had for Rebels that was never used. So, let's have a whole episode about transporting, someone to another planet. I mean, that's something that I've seen in Clone Wars. How did the Frog Lady get to Tatooine if she's not able to use, if light speed, she can only go subspace or sublight speed. how did she get to Tatooine? Is she from Tatooine? How did she, how long did it take her? How old is she? When did she have these eggs? There's so many issues that we're just supposed to forget about because it doesn't really matter, in this episode. But yet these little details matter. Okay. That's one thing. The X-Wing pilots, yeah, like you guys said, how did they find them? They were flying around for like a day straight just to get down there and say, well, we saved your life. Don't go doing that. We could have arrested you, but we're not going to. Like, what's the point of that? And I think that yes, I am. I'm from there originally. Naz or Nzo. I think also it would have tied into episode 1 more if it had been Boba Fett that had found them at the end there and saved them. I think that would have been a little more compelling. If he was going to save them and act like he's a friend of theirs, I just saved your life. You owe me. Hey, that's my armor. We're buddy. And then he double crosses them. I still think that's coming. I hope, but we'll see. I think Boba Fett still has the skill set. Whether he has a slave one or not, who knows? We saw him as a hermit basically, but that's not to say he couldn't go and get a ship if he needed it to track, Mandalorian. I mean, seeing the Mando flying with his armor, that could have reignited his passion or his being. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts. And it just felt like it didn't end anywhere, like Comix Division said, another 5-10 minutes, showing them land on the next planet would have been, I think, a little better than just ending it okay, off in space into the next adventure. It doesn't really take us anywhere. Baby Yoda's a genocidal maniac. Now we got I'm okay. I'm okay.
One of my biggest issues, sorry, before Danny goes on, one of my biggest issues is that this show has not moved the main plot any further. Agreed. You know what I mean? That's a big issue.
Yeah. Danny, you had something to say about the language. Because I think you're going to say what I'm going to say.
I'm saying two things. Just because some person may know this language, don't mean they necessarily know every language. Because that'd be crazy. That'd be like I may know Spanish, but if I go to Russia, I damn sure can't speak Russian. So just because Mando knows Sand people language doesn't necessarily mean he knows Frog people language. And second thing, what a big myth is, it is quite regular practice that if law enforcement has you in a pickle, it's something called officer discretion. They can say, okay, I'm gonna let you go this time, but remember this because next time I may need some information or I may be in trouble. So as long as it's legal and nothing illegal, it's perfectly fine if a law officer, I do it all the time. I stop somebody speeding, or whatever the case may be. Okay, I'm gonna write you a warning this time, but next time, blah 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 blah. So that's all that was. They checked the warrants, whatever, or the information, whatever, and they saw that the good outweighed the bad. So they get a little more leeway than we have here in the real world. Because in the real world, his butt would have went to jail.
Yeah.
But there are some warrants and there are some tickets where the officer can say, okay, I'm going to give you a pass. But remember
on a warrant?
Yes, sir.
Really?
On some warrants. On some warrants.
Okay.
There is some, like, for instance, I know.
What would be an example? No, I know because I don't know that. I don't know.
Give an example that you got a small amount of marijuana on you, and you say, "Okay, I know who the big dealer is, or somebody else." Then they can hold that warrant, and you do the work or do whatever you want to do, and get to the bigger fish. Then when they come to court time, they will tell the judge, "Okay, so and so, he worked with me. I want to dismiss the charge at this time because he helped me get the bigger fish."
Exactly. So you mean if, like, let's say I'm like. And I'm asking because I'm trying to clarify. Like, if I'm like selling drugs at my house, there's a warrant for me. They can come to my house and say, if you give us someone bigger, we'll let you go. And then they'll.
Not in all cases, but in some cases, if you say the right name or you say, I can get you this big fish, and you and the work that you do and whatever you do helps law enforcement catch that big fish. When it comes to court, you will have a lenient fine, or sometimes your charges will be dropped.
They still take you to jail, though, right? They won't just leave you there. They still take you
not
to jail,
necessarily.
right?
Well, if they take you to jail, like for instance, and I know this for a fact, a drug dealer, if you're in your house dealing drugs and the cops come, if the cops don't take you, you're still there. There's no question. They don't stop by your house an hour or two later and you're not there. And then somebody says, "Hey, why weren't you there?" "Well, I got arrested." They're trying to make sure that they're not making waves. And So, okay, I can't believe you guys went through all of this and didn't even mention this. Okay, first off, the language thing's absolutely what Danny said. Listen, even in police, like he said, you always got that guy, man, this guy speaks Spanish. I don't know Spanish. He's speaking Greek to me, that type of thing. You call the guy who can, because you got to get somewhere first before you arrest a guy, before you give him a ticket. You got to know what he's saying, because there might be a reason. But so in every group, there's that person who understands a little bit or enough. In the military, it's like that too. When you're overseas, you pick up on basic, quick phrases, and you'll remember that for quite a while, depending on where you were. And so, so that doesn't really bother me. The longer he's in that spot, and that's why people speak Huttese, is because in that region, Huttese is a big thing, and so they know it. So, I do agree with the fact that the Sand People or the Tusken Raiders, that's kind of pushing it, because they are very what would you say, introverted. They're a very introverted group.
Nomadic.
Yeah, they're nomad, so they don't really fit that profile. But I'll let it pass, because okay, maybe he got buddy with, maybe he had a girlfriend who was, I don't know. Anyways,
maybe he dated a sand person.
Right? One of the biggest problems I have with this is, does this lady not know how many damn eggs she has?
I know. Okay.
The last of her kind. That's it.
Last of her line, not of her kind, not of her species.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Last of her cycle, her last cycle, whatever. And he's ate 4 of them in this episode, and she doesn't know.
I think he ate more than 4.
I think he ate more. Yeah.
I noticed. You guys noticed. She didn't. It's like, what the hell? What type of mother is she? She's sitting here trying to risk.
Maybe she finally did notice, because when they were I think it was when they were sitting in the cockpit, right?
Oh yeah.
And baby Yoda looks back at her,
at the end,
she looks down at the container, and then she clutches it, I
think she knew.
That's what I
she had a moment where when Mando was like taking his nap, being all depressed, she had a moment where she kind of was yelling and kind of looked over at the case, and I thought that was before she plugged into the robot. So I thought that was the time where she's like, look at this. I have less eggs than I had when I got in this thing.
Yeah.
I thought she noticed there.
Chris, share screen.
It's not your turn.
Damn.
I'm just showing what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look way less at the end.
Yeah.
Nope. No, you don't, little kid.
No, I think she's just hunkering in.
Well, she also because he tried to eat one when she was in the hot spring.
Yeah, but I just don't.
And Nando was like, no. And he put it out. He tried to eat one right in front of her.
I don't eat your babies.
But you're telling me then that she knows he's doing it, but she hasn't freaking put him in a box or something to keep him away from him. Again, that makes
I'd be having a padlock on that.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think she had a clue, but she saved him when those spiders was attacking them. If somebody eat my damn children,
Mr. Pete, he ate at least 4. At least 4. Now, my next problem, you can't just end it with no resolution. If you're doing episodic, you gotta have a resolution to this, unless for some reason this woman is more than we know. And
I think
now,
let me say this real quick, Chris. I think the next episode is going to start with them meeting her husband.
I hope so, but I don't know that, because this they do not have a great track record.
They still could have done that even if they landed on the planet and you see them get out.
Ended. Okay, so
and then what's going to happen? He's going to meet the husband. Husband's going to say, "Oh yeah, I know where you go here," and then he goes to another planet, meets someone else.
Or he's supposed to be.
They should have ended it on that one.
All right.
But the reason he's transporting her is so he can tell them where the other Mandalorians are at. So
Right. All right. It's so the other thing.
And he speaks basic because they teach the men how to speak English and not the women.
Okay. The other thing here is that the underlying fact is that we know Mando was shown at the end of the last scene on I wanted to say Tunisia, Tatooine. Man, showing him for 5 seconds following them as they're about ready to leave the mechanics place, something where he's outside and he's following them. You know, it would have been nice because we know he's following him.
You talking about Boba?
Okay.
Talking about Boba Fett?
Yes, we know he's following the Mandalorian.
He should have showed up instead of the X-wings at the end.
Well, something to keep us on this ominous. What is Boba Fett up to? Because we know who he is. It's not like you're going to hide that from us. But something to keep him in play, and that ominous. What is his game? What is he doing? Is he here to help? Is he here to? I think he's there to follow. And you mentioned Moff Gideon, and that he hasn't been there yet. I think that's the whole purpose of Boba Fett. But we'll see.
I actually think we see Boba Fett again.
What?
I'm not 100% sure we even see Boba Fett again.
Chris,
they don't introduce him for nothing.
I think that Boba Fett sent those people to attack Mando. Because how would they know that?
I think Boba Fett was in the scene in the background.
I think those people that in the beginning of the show, Boba Fett sent to attack them to see what they would do and possibly get that armor.
Another question is, how did they get there? You know, there were no transport. Like we see Mando having to walk all the way back to, I guess it's Mos Eisley. Yeah, it's Mos Eisley. We see him walking back in the desert. Where did the bandits? How did they get out to the middle of nowhere? Did they not have a transport or any bikes or anything? Like where? You know,
their homie dropped them off.
Okay. The other thing, now I got to think about it again here.
You better hurry up. You're gonna lose your spot.
Oh crap!
Oh, stop!
Lost spot.
Okay, guys, that's not helping. Okay. The whole piloting thing. The Razor Crest is something that's been around for a while. Everybody knows this ship. It's a relic from, the older times, and for some reason, he doesn't know how to fly worth a crap when it counts. How has he survived this damn long? And now all of us, he looks like a 16-year-old who gets in all these accidents, and they have that crappy Taurus that has, the dent in the back door, it's missing the hubcaps. It's got a light. It's got a headlight that's being on with duct tape. That's kind of where I'm getting. It's like, his piloting skills, it's like, but when it counts, like when he's flying through the canyon, it's like, oh, he can do it. But then as soon as he gets to that one spot, it's like, what caused him to
I think he meant to do that.
It's constant. And oh my God.
Like I said, it's amateur hour.
Well, and not just that. Why is it that every time his ship gets torn to pieces like that, he kind of just goes shit, what do I do? I don't know how to fix this. It's like, dude, by now you probably might want to learn. The first season, his ship gets torn apart by the Jawas.
The Jawas, yeah.
And he has to have Nick Nolte's guy fix it for him or help him fix it. Because Nolte, obviously, that character knew more about it than he did.
Mm-hmm.
So he got that experience, but here he is again. He's kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do. Dude.
But Chris, let me make a comment.
Yeah.
If you wreck your car, a certain parts of it you could repair. But if somebody was to totally dismantle your car, I don't think none of us here could put it back together again without some help.
Well explain help.
I mostly agree with that.
Yeah.
Explain car. It depends.
Okay, if it's minor damage, we saw him took out his welding gun and repaired it in the cave. We saw that. Plain and simple. In the Jawa, they took apart his whole entire ship. So if somebody was to take apart my whole entire car truck, I can't put together.
It will help to have people help.
Plus, you need the proper tools too. He probably didn't have the proper tools with him. He had enough to do. But one thing though that you mentioned, Chris, how did he repair the window? Because the spider put one of its legs right through the freaking window. How did he repair the glass? How did he repressurize that?
He's in space, yeah.
Well,
with what he had on him on an ice planet, does he carry extra?
I think
glass,
he took a piece of
temperature
I think he
control?
took a piece of the hull. I think he took a piece of the hull or something, and because it showed him welding it on. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure most spaceships, if they have glass, they have some way of repairing it because you're not going to be flying around in space without
Can you share the
something
screen,
to seal
Chris?
it.
Here's a ship flying away in space, limping away. Look, glass repaired.
Glass repaired with glass. I don't see
Yes.
any side of the hull or anything there. It looks like it's perfectly normal. I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, I guess, I see what you're saying. Like, it's such a major part. You think you would have some kind of backup for that, but we didn't see him use anything. I don't know. It's just little details like that would be nice to see.
Okay. Let's go around. Let's give it our rating and our final thoughts on this episode. We'll start with comics. I have to run and go get my kid an ibuprofen real quick, so I will be right back. Okay.
Oh man, I'm gonna. You're not gonna be around for my really, really bad rating.
I will stick around.
I give it a D plus.
Whoa.
Yeah, you won't be the only one to give it a bad rating.
Wow.
Don't worry.
Phantom Zone, their asses right now.
Wrong
Sorry,
channel.
Danny.
Wrong channel.
Oh my God.
Okay, D plus and final thoughts.
Comic Tech.
Final thoughts. I don't know. I think, like I said, a lot of my issues with it. If the series was more episodic, I think I would be a lot more forgiving with the rating and how I felt about the episode. But considering they've been doing this mixture of linear and episodic stories, it doesn't flow. And if you're going to be doing episodic episodes, they need to be longer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I agree. I'll get to what I have to say after that. Shellback, rating and final thoughts, please.
Yeah, well, I mean, when comments like that are made, I think back to shows like Miami Vice back in the day, where they did both. They had, they did episodic, but they also did linear because they had like a story that spanned the whole season and stuff. So I mean, it can be done.
Yeah, it can be, but a lot of it too, like with Trek, occasionally you would have like episodes that went on, or a plot that spanned 2 episodes, or that something will get brought up later on in the season, but it's still for the most part episodic.
Yeah,
and it's also with a long season,
right?
We only get 8 seasons here, or 8 episodes.
Only 8 episodes. Yeah,
but yeah, the episode should have been longer. They should have ended it like with them landing at the next spaceport where he can start repairing the ship, whatever. As far as like a grade or whatever, 5 out of 10 or whatever letter grade is like barely passing. I said whatever letter grade is like barely passing.
5 plus.
A 5 is C minus or C.
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 The halfway to C.
Right in the middle.
F, D minus, D plus, C minus. C minus.
This reminds me too much of algebra. Please stop.
I figured it out. C minus. Gotcha. Okay. JJ.
Turn your mic off.
It's on.
Wow.
Sergeant,
all in all,
machine just came on.
yeah, you're hearing my oxygen machine. All in all, I give it a good strong B plus, something like that. For a filler episode, and that
Good job, JJ. Excellent grade.
What's your rating?
I just said B
B
plus.
B plus.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm sorry.
I know, Chris. You wore out, man. Pay attention.
Been going for a bit.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, that all in all, I like the episode for a filler, but it it's said and done. Just check out next week's, find out what's going on.
Mm-hmm. All right. Austinator.
I'm gonna have to go with a B for this episode. I think last episode I gave it a B minus. I think I'm gonna change that grade to a C plus, and then for episode 2, I'm gonna go with a B. I think that this episode, the positives really saved this episode, but the problem is, and the thing that's really keeping it from being higher than a B, is the fact, again, it's filler. It doesn't, again, they set up something in episode 1 that doesn't really go anywhere, at least for now, and we don't really know what's going on, and the main plot really isn't going farther than it should. But overall, this episode was fun, and one of the better filler episodes.
Okay. Danny.
I'm going to piggyback what Allstater said. I'm going to give it a solid B. It was a filler episode, but I was entertained. I agree with what he said. The positives outweigh the negatives in my mind. One thing no one covered, and I'm curious, is why isn't Baby Yoda using the Force this year? Because this was a dire situation. Last year, he used the Force in dire situations, but this year, especially when that spider was doing whatever he was doing, I would think he would use the Force, but for whatever reason, they're not letting him use the Force this year, so I'm kind of curious about that.
Well, he did a little bit.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't recall that either.
Well, no. If you pay attention real close to it, when he walked up to where the eggs are,
Yeah.
and he puts his hand on the glass,
Oh, yeah, that's
one
right.
of the eggs slowly float towards him.
Yeah, they kind of come to him. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I heard someone said that they thought he was boiling the egg.
Hard boiled.
I want to eat your babies.
All right. Eli.
I give it a letter grade of L.
What the fuck?
Yeah, let's get on with the L already. Come on.
Listen, it may have been a while since you've been in school, but come on.
Okay, I give it a solid C. Not a C minus, C plus, but a solid C because, yeah, it was a filler episode. I'm not that big fan of filler episodes unless it was Stargate episode 200. But Celestial Wormhole. But like, how do the pilots find these guys? What's up with all these spiders hatching at the same time? Mando just doesn't can't put the eggs back in the corner without him putting hot water in it. I'm like, come on, water's already cold. He's trying to freeze those eggs up again. Like Comic Chat said, he had a good mind of his honor. Come on, a solid C for me.
That's Wormhole Extreme.
All right, Nzo.
Yes, sir. I actually give it a C minus.
Lord, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I give it a C minus. Like I said, to me, it didn't progress the plot of the show, and that's what a really issue. Every episode so far seems like a side quest, and I'm really starting to bother me with that. So C minus for me.
Yeah.
Okay. And last but not least, final.
I agree. It's a C minus because if C minus is like a 5,
The damn
equivalent to a 5.
Steeler fans are sticking together. That's all that shit is.
Yeah. Just like
8-0, boy. 8-0.
Say no. Yeah, it's just like there, it's there to be watched. It didn't really sway me either way. There's nothing I really disliked to the point of like, oh, that makes me angry or upset about it. But there's also not a lot that makes me think, oh, I'm so excited about next week. It was, there were nice sequences. I like the Spire sequence. I like them being chased, through the tunnel. It kind of reminded me of an Indiana Jones type scene. Where they're trying to escape the ball. He's got instead of carrying the relic, he's got the baby eggs, and he's trying to get through. Instead of the ball, it's the spider. So there's kind of like elements there that were nice. I thought visually it looked really good. I like the
there.
What's that?
I didn't see notice any bad CGI.
No, the CGI was good. When the frog lady was jumping, all of a sudden she started jumping. I thought that worked. I'm like, it makes sense.
That worked too. Yeah, I agree.
So there were things I liked about it, but there were all the things we mentioned that we didn't like about it. So it's just kind of there. It didn't really get me super excited for next week. I'm so happy the show's on. I still enjoy the show, but I'm enjoying it just because it's like, well, Star Wars, it's on. First I was a little more excited after the first week with the Boba Fett reveal because I thought we were gonna, like you said, Chris, I thought we were gonna get him, stalking them or trying to team up with them or something. I still think it would have been nice to see him come in and help them out at the end instead of the X-Wings. But we'll see what the plan is. Hopefully they have a good plan for Boba Fett. I don't know right now. I think we're definitely going to go to the next planet in the next week because I think there's a scene or there's at least a screenshot of seeing Frog Lady with Frog Husband reunited. And I'm guessing that's where Sasha Banks is going to come in because from the trailer.
I got a theory about Boba Fett. The reason why nobody's heard of him, because he's a Mandalorian. He doesn't show his face. He's always wrapped. Nobody knows what he looks like.
That's silly, too, though, because we've seen all through Clone Wars and Rebels, they take off their helmets like nonstop. Yeah. It's not that big of an age, a time jump there. So that's kind of whole thing is silly.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
I give it a solid C. It's there. And again, I have one word for the group of people working on, or not one word, but I have one phrase for the group of people working on Mandalorian. It's called mini-series. Episodic, if you're going to have 8 episodes, make it a mini-series, stretch them out, and make it 4. If you're going to do seasons and episodes, shorten them and put double the number.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an easy formula, and they're like mixing the two formulas, and it just isn't working.
Yeah, it's not consistent.
One episode's 36 minutes, the other one's 52 minutes. Like, what the hell? Come on.
And Nzo said it really well when he said, as far as season 1, episode 1, and when we get the child and the whole overarching theme is somehow related to this child, we are now 10 episodes in, and we still have no clue why. Why is this child that important? We know now at least this much. We need to get him to his kind to figure things out. But that's one bit of information to what seems to be the driving force of this whole show, which is weird because it's called The Mandalorian, not the Baby Yoda thing. And hold on. I don't have a problem with that being the idea. It's just you're going to lose people eventually because you're not getting on with it. And this is where I said when this first came out, I love the look of it. I love these episodes, every one of them. I do. But they're individual by themselves. They're good. They're not helping me with what's going on. What's our point? And now you're adding new characters like Boba Fett, and you're going to add Ahsoka into this. Now we're just throwing things in there that now we have to explain why they're there or what they have to do with everything. We're adding more things we have to explain, yet we're not explaining anything that's already there, and it's driving me nuts. And it's got to be figured out.
I'm beginning to think that they're that they shoot like multiple episodes, or like they shoot at least half the series, if not more. And then they just make the episodes in the editing room. Like they're like, okay, we're gonna chop it here. Chop it here, and here. And
I said that the first episode felt like it could have fit anywhere in last season.
Yeah,
guys, when an episode is actually done for the network, the season is written. That's it. Only small, minute changes can happen to an episode.
Well, I'm not
What the production can do is they can halt production halfway through the season, take a break, get input, and do little altercations for some of the episodes, but they can't really change.
But they're not really doing that. They're not doing that because if that's the point, then they release like all 4 of the first part. Again, miniseries. I'm telling you, this would have worked much better as a miniseries with a continuing story from one step to the next. Where when they're in the ship going to meet her husband. The very next hour and a half part of the miniseries is that same beginning. They're in the ship still. Let's go. Whatever they're going to do with like the Snyder Cut, what I think is it's going to end, and when we come back, it's going to be right where that last part was. That's how this should have been done. You can still do the lone gunslinger. You can still do the Western feel. You can do all of that stuff in this, but you connect it. And these side missions then don't feel so fragmented and don't take your mind off.
I'd like to change my letter grade to E for eggs.
Okay. All right, guys. We've been going for an hour and a half. I have about 24 minutes before I have to go get my son. I have other things I have to do, and I still have another stream tonight. So let's go around. Let's talk about who we are, what we're doing, all that fun stuff. And let's start with Comix. Go ahead.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Comix Division. You can follow me on Twitter at Comix Division and my channel, Comix Division. And that's really about it. Got something cooking for tonight. Still need to figure out what it's going to be though.
Hopefully it's not eggs.
You never know.
All right, Shellback, tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found.
I'm just gonna say that come by Latino Slant channel on Thursday night at 9 p.m. for X-Files.
Is that Pacific or what?
The name, yeah, 9 p.m. Pacific, yes.
Okay.
The show is called X-Flicks and Chill. But we watched the X-Files. We started from the beginning, and we're gonna be like on episode 9, I think, this coming Thursday. Also, check out West Moody Webcast and Bear Nerd Fun. I show up on their channels, from time to time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very good. And Shellback has his own channel. He does have some good videos on there. I like his humor he puts into them, and you do talk about some good stuff there. And I know you don't do it as much as you'd like, but there are some good videos over there for you to watch. So guys, go check over his channel too. JJ, Mr. Sith Lord 3827. Tell everybody about yourself.
Unmute yourself.
See, I said, is this thing on? And no one answered. That was great. First, maybe before trying to be anywhere, maybe I should learn how to work this headset. Anyway, what's up, guys and gals? My name is JJ. You can find me a little bit of everywhere. Twice on Sundays here on Chris Knight's channel. You can find me either as a contestant or as a mod on HanStar's Name That Tune, which is at 11 p.m. Eastern tonight. Catch me on my channel Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern for randomness at its finest. Random panel, random topic. Come by, check it out. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff that goes with it. You can also catch me Tuesday night with Nzo Hodges, Danny Graham, Chris Knight, Elihu Who, LDG Pixels, and sometimes Mad Mardigan with us over on the KHAOS list, over on Bigger Ford Entertainment, which is Nzo's channel, and also simulcast on KHAOS Central. And then last but not least, sometimes I wrap right back around. I'm back on at Chris's sometime on Thursday for the weekly Rumble, either as a contestant or combatant, as I like to say. And sometimes he plays it differently, and I'm on there as a wild card. And last but not least, you can find me on Twitter at SithLord3827. Thanks for having me on again, Chris. I had a blast. A lot of entertaining insights on this episode. Awesome.
I appreciate you being here. Up next, the newbie to the group, or a newbie, one of the newbies. We got the Austinator. Austinator, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found, all that good stuff.
Yeah, what's up, guys? The Austinator. I'll be back. I have a Twitter, so if you ever want to hit me up in my DMs, just look me up at the Austinator17. I also, if you don't have Twitter, that's perfectly fine. I got a Discord, so if you ever want to hit me up in my DMs there, just look me up at the Austinator on Discord. And I got a YouTube channel, the Austinator, where I had 80 subscribers, then I went back down to 79. So if you have not subscribed yet, please do so. We talk about everything over there. I'm basically a topic whore, and I'm also a stream whore because I'm basically everywhere. I do streams. I talk about Marvel, talk about superheroes. Then I talk about, I've started talking about wrestling on the channel. More than likely, the next stream is going to be titled "Don't Be a Ricochet, Be a Tribal Chief." So look out for that. And so everybody do yourself a favor and get to the chopper and subscribe to the channel.
Nice. All right. Thank you for being here, by the way. I'm glad you can make it. Up next, Danny Graham of Comic Chat.
How you doing, people? I'm Danny, aka Comic Chat. I have several shows on YouTube. The one tomorrow night will be the Chaotic Conversation, where we will continue our list of our top 50 villains. I think we'll be ranking from 40 to 31. Also, Tuesday and Wednesday night, you can catch me on Chris and Anzo's channels, KHAOS List, Rule of 3. Thursdays usually Equilibrium. Sundays is Square One, where we do totally sports show. And of course, this show, Robert Storm. I do it just about 4 or 5 nights a week. So I have a lot of shows out there. Please subscribe to everyone on this panel. It has a lot of good guys up here, a lot of good content, interesting content. So just hit the subscribe button. I'm going to take 1 second. Support these guys. Support me if you can, and we appreciate it. Thanks again, Chris, for having me.
As always, I appreciate you being here. Elihu Who. Make sure you mute.
Okay, it's not muted anymore. Okay, I am Elihu Who. I can be found everywhere and nowhere at the same time, sometimes in between. But when I'm not there, you can catch me live every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific time, because I do a science show called What's Up with the Universe? And this week we are talking about stars. Because, for example, our star can fit 1 million Earths in it, and it is very, very, very small star in the universe. So, more information, tune in Wednesday at 12 noon. And I can also be found on LDG Pixels channel, Jedi Bell's Insomniac Soup. Like I said, everywhere, nowhere, and somewhere in between. You can find me everywhere, so hey, I'm even on Twitter.
Indeed. Up next, the other newbie, Nzo. Nzo, tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found.
Yes, man. You guys know where to find the channel. It's Big Afford Entertainment. Like Donnie said, we got 3 shows together, me, him, and Chris. KHAOS List, KHAOS Conversation, and The Rule of 3. JJ's a co-star on my show. He comes in. Danny has his co-stars on his show, so check it out. We try to entertain you guys as well. We do sports shows, Square One on Saturday. This week we talked all football, so we'll probably be just doing all football for now.
Those Aints ain't got it this year.
What's that?
Those Aints ain't gonna have it this year.
Well, they're whooping ass right now. So
Wait, what? We're 8-0.
Oh, the Steelers are 8-0. Yeah,
Steelers
I know.
are 8-0, undefeated.
Yeah. We're going Super Bowl. I know that.
It's funny though. Today, though, I heard 2 commentators say it's the Chiefs that are 1, and then it's the Pittsburgh Steelers that are 1A.
Yeah, something like that. But we'll be 1. Don't worry about that. We're still 1, undefeated. And
we like being the underdogs. Steelers
absolutely.
Are a good underdog.
Like the Dodgers were.
We were actually the first wild card team to win the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So,
Yep.
So with that being said, I'm also going to be trying to bring back the OOC this week, and I think I got a fire topic, so I definitely would like you guys to check that out. Sub to the channel. I appreciate all the support you guys give me, and I appreciate you having me on today, Chris. Thanks.
Love having you here, man. Like I said, this is a rotating panel, so go ahead. Final.
Hello, everyone. I am. Thank you, Chris. I am Final Death Star. Thank you for having me on, Chris, and everyone in the panel tonight. It was a lot of fun talking about this show, which still I'm still happy it's on, even though this episode was a little bit of a step backwards. It's still nice to talk about. It's nice to talk about the lore and the content of the show, as opposed to just the social and political, stuff that they seem to have injected in other media. Coming out of Disney, but this show's pretty much stayed away from that for the most part so far. So, it's nice to talk about that kind of stuff. But you can find me at my channel, Final Death Star. I will be on my own channel, my own stream, Enter the Nether, in about 15 minutes, probably a half hour. Probably push it back to 7:15 Pacific Standard Time. So you can find me there with Flipped Out. We're talking about Skinwalker Ranch. tonight. We started talking about it last week, and we're going to keep talking about it. It's one of the most odd, weird places on the planet. So
I know a lot about that place. Yeah.
Yeah, do you? Oh, might want to have you on as a guest then at some point.
I'm still working on my show tonight, dude. Sorry.
No, it's something in the future. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so you can find me there on earlier today on Sundays. You can find me on Nerd Cookies channel, where we do a show at 3:00 Pacific Standard Time. We also talk about The Mandalorian, and this channel right here on Sundays as well. And then Tuesday and Saturdays on author Stephen Walden's channel for our Rogue Entertainment TR4 shows, and randomly here and there, Bear Nerds Fun with Shellback and Wes Moody. Sometimes on Wes Moody's show on Wednesdays as well. And I think I'm at 718 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1,000 as soon as possible. So getting there. I'm almost there. Sub if you haven't, I'd appreciate it.
All right. Yes,
Good job.
indeed. Everybody, go check everybody out here. Everybody's link that was here today is down in the description box, except for Austinator. I'll get you on there, Austinator. I do want to say I got a lot of stuff going on as usual. I'm bringing back the Gospel According to Chris again here soon. I've got gaming streams on Mondays, sometimes other days. I still am doing my music reviews. I'm there on Mondays with the Chaotic Conversation with Danny Graham and Nzo. Tuesdays on the KHAOS list with Danny Graham and Nzo also, and other people, JJ, Eli, LDG. Sometimes lots of different people can come in there.
He's in the chat.
And then on Wednesdays, it's the Rule of Three, which is my show for the Chaos Central. Then on Thursdays, I have the Weekly Rumble. I have the Weekly Wrap Up. I have all of this show. I got a lot of different things going on, guys. And I appreciate you guys being here for me, for everybody else here. Go check their channels out and sub, guys. Listen, these guys don't do this just because they like to do it. That is a big reason. But they like to know that you're there and that you like what they're talking about, and they enjoy the commentary that you can have back and forth with the chat with different people coming on. And yeah, guys, I really do appreciate coming here. This shows I looked forward to this for the year we waited for this show to come back. And if for no other reason, like I said, guys, you don't have to like The Mandalorian, but you can agree on one thing. It at least is giving us conversation points that are not what the new trilogy was. Mm-hmm. It's giving us something that isn't dividing fans. It's trying to find an even ground between Disney, Star Wars fans.
Yeah, come on.
and regular Star Wars
it's
fans.
canon now. Thank you.
But I'm just saying they're finding a good middle ground. I think they're working bugs out, but they do have to figure this formula out, and they do have to figure this out. But what I see so far still gives me some hope. So, guys, with that said, that's all for tonight, and we'll see you next Sunday. Everybody, say goodbye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Bye.
Later.
Hey guys, thanks for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe to both channels, and make sure to check out our friends in the Fandom Minutes. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and BitChute, and you can also send us an email at sean@sean.chaosreacts.com and Chris Knight at therealreview3000.com. Be sure to swing by our Teespring store to pick up some awesome merchandise.